Hello, you're listening to E-Bible Fellowship's new open form excerpts, and now we present the following excerpt.
Welcome to our program. Please go ahead with your call.
Hi, Chris. How are you tonight?
Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you. Please go ahead.
It was nice hearing when you spoke earlier about the viewers on X that were asking the questions, what Bible to read and so forth. And what I'm getting at is, right away I began to think about Second Chronicles 20 with Jehoshaphat and the Battle of Jehoshaphat. And when God told him, the battle is his, you're not to fight. Because there's a spiritual battle, a great slaying going on in the world today from one nation to the next, spoken of in Jeremiah, And it's nice to know that the spoil, which Jehoshaphat, after Amalekites and so forth killed themselves, they went and picked up the spoil. And as you had taught one time, the spoil is actually referring to the elect, the true believers, the great multitude. And so when you were, explaining, what is happening, what you observe, I immediately start thinking about that. And I just prompted to call and say, well, could that be the case with all the division that's going on there and the fact that the Bible is being glorified and even in regular media now because, people are using terms of Christianity, Bible, and so forth, which at one time, it was unheard of. People are now boldly trying to take a stand. So what do you think?
Well, yeah, that's, I think, what is happening. As far as Second Chronicles 20, the army of Jehoshaphat, so Jehoshaphat would be a type of Christ, the army of the saints, they go down because the three enemy armies are all dead. They killed one another. And effectively, that's what happened May 21, 2011. The Bible does speak of a widow woman who is dead while she liveth. And remember, Christ said, let the dead bury the dead. Well, the only way that's possible is for the spiritually dead to bury the physically dead. And when God shut the door, he sealed everyone's fate. One of the characteristics of the condition of death physically throughout the history of the world, as soon as someone died, their fate was sealed. So we're in the condition of death, and out there among the dead are, in the case of the historical parable of 2 Chronicles 20, gold, silver, treasure. And they would typify the elect. So they went out and gathered of the spoil for 3 days. And 3 days in the Bible is a judgment figure. Christ 3 days, 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Jonah 3 days, 3 nights in the whale. And so over the course of Judgment Day, the elect are we're going out amongst the dead, and that's anywhere we go, any city, any town, any nation. We're going out amongst the dead, especially as we're carrying the tracts, or we're sharing these things, and we're collecting the spoil of the dead. That is out there is a great multitude. And one way God likens them in Zechariah 14, it says, first it tells us about the dead in verse 12, and this shall be the plague wherewith Jehovah will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. And who fought against Jerusalem? Satan and his forces, the Gentiles. The Gentiles are the nations. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. That's describing the rotting away of a corpse. Only, it says, while they stand upon their feet, and that's to portray people are walking around. They're walking around, but they're dead in Judgment Day. They've, again, been effectively killed. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from Jehovah shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. Does that sound familiar? That is happening everywhere. That's the division. And verse 14, and Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen, and the word heathen is nations, same Hebrew word translated nations. The wealth of all the nations round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. So it's similar picture as Second Chronicles 20. You have people who are dead, but they're on their feet. You have man fighting against neighbor against neighbor, fighting. They're killing one another, just like in Second Chronicles 20. But then the wealth, and the word wealth is translated as forces in Isaiah 60, the same word that we find in this great chapter that says again and again, they will come. They will come. I didn't realize this, I guess, till relatively recently, last few years. The free will churches speak about coming to Christ, and it kind of has that association. I came to Christ, but the Bible speaks of that. The big verse, or the verse that helps get that idea of coming to him clear in our minds, is John 6:44. No man can come. It's impossible. No man can come except the Father which sent me draw him. So when the Bible says they will come, it means they will be drawn, because obviously, if God's saying it will happen, it's happening in a right way, it's happening in a proper way. Isaiah 60, well, you could read the whole chapter, but verse 3, and the Gentiles, the nations, shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thine eyes round about and see. All they gather themselves together. Same thing we read in Zechariah. They gather themselves together. They come to thee, to Christ. Thy son shall come from far, and thy daughter shall be nursed at thy sides. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea, the great catch of fish, shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The wealth, the same word, wealth, the wealth of all the nations round about shall be gathered together, gold, silver, and apparel. And we know God likens his people gold, silver, precious stones. Gathering gold, silver, precious stones from among the dead is a picture of gathering the elect. And that's why, why do we hand out tracts? Because, with the tract, it gives information. It's directing people where they can go to learn the Bible outside of the church, which is extremely important. And so when we go to a city, Paris or Argentina, Sao Paulo, wherever we go, we're going to a city of the dead. Our hope is, well, maybe this is one of God's elect, and that God will activate it. Now, I would say it appears at this time God has yet to activate it in a big way that we would expect, given the numbers that the Bible indicates. If you sow abundantly, that should give you an idea. There should be a corresponding result, or a corresponding action of reaping abundantly. It's indicating to the same degree, and we haven't seen that. So the language of the Bible for this time period gives hope. And of course, we know not that hope that God will save, but hope those that he has saved will come to him.
Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. That way you don't miss any upcoming videos.